I have a sneaky suspicion that a lot of you saw the title to this video and had absolutely no idea what a rack pull was. You've probably seen people do it and thought that maybe doing some variation of a deadlift, which is kind of true, but you might not understand the reason why they were doing it. And if there was one muscle group that I would say, besides from abs, that people neglect the most in the gym, it's their traps. And that's because most people, when they train their traps, they only do exercises like a barbell or a dumbbell shrug, and then maybe some upright rows as long as they have proper form. A lot of people say don't do upright rows because it causes shoulder impingement. That's a load of BS. Doing any exercise wrong can cause an injury, but we can talk more about form for upright rows in a later video. In this video, we're gonna go over this article that I put out in 2021. It's a really good article. If you guys want to read through the whole thing, I'll post a link down in the info section below. But I talk a lot about dumbbell shrugs versus the rack pull. And the reason being is because, like I said earlier, your traps go all the way down to your mid back, and they do help stabilize your scapula and your spine, which is going to help you out a lot when you're doing exercises like a heavy deadlift, right? Any exercise where you have to keep your back upright and maintain a neutral position with your head, it's going to be important to have strong traps. And of course, looking really big on the sides of your neck when looking in the mirror doesn't hurt either. So, what's the main difference between a dumbbell shrug or a rack pull? And I know all of you guys have done dumbbell shrugs before. It's a very easy exercise. You hold dumbbells on the sides of your body. Some people like to bring them to the front a bit more, and you're simply bringing your shoulders up to your ears as high as you can. Hold it for a second and then come back down. Now, I will say, when you do a dumbbell shrug, you don't want to be bouncing your shoulders like this. You need to actually feel the stretch in the bottom. So when you bring the dumbbells down, so in the first position right here, you're actually feeling a stretch happen across your shoulders. And when you come up, you want to hold it for a second and make sure you're actually getting a contraction in your traps when you get to the top of the movement. Now, there's a few different variations that you can do with a dumbbell shrug that some of y'all probably haven't tried before. In fact, I'd be willing to bet about 90% of you watching this video right now have never done a seated shrug slightly bent over. Now, when you're standing up, it's safe to say that you're hitting mostly the upper traps. What about the mid and lower traps? How are you targeting those muscle groups? Well, doing an exercise like this, and if you've never done it before, you're going to be in for a treat. This will allow you to place a bit more emphasis on those mid traps when doing your dumbbell shrugs. But I will say, you do need to go a lot lighter when doing this version of a shrug, because if you go too heavy, what's going to end up happening is you'll actually start really bending your elbows, and it'll feel more like you're doing a half bicep curl versus actually shrugging back with your shoulders. You need to really, really pinpoint that mind muscle connection and feel your traps activating when doing this variation of a shrug. And of course, if the weights get too heavy, the goal here is traps training, not grip training. So it's okay to use wrist wraps, whether you're doing dumbbell shrugs or barbell shrugs, right? But when it comes to the rack pull, what are you actually doing? So the rack pull, what you want to do is actually set up on something like a Smith machine, okay? Because you're going to be starting with the weight in an elevated position, and you're going to overload with a lot of weight. So you'll probably use, 20, 30, 40% more than what you normally do a dumbbell, not dumbbell, I'm sorry, a deadlift with. And some of you might even be able to go like double the amount of weight you do on a deadlift, depending on how good you are. But I'd recommend, figuring out what you do for your deadlift for like 8 to 10 repetitions, and then add like 30, 40% more weight to that. And that's going to be your rack pull weight. Because all you're doing is you're going from a semi-bent knee position to a standing position. So that bar's only moving like 3, 4, 5 inches max, okay? And it's also really important to make sure that when you do the exercise, you're not bent over like this and then standing up, because that's going to destroy your lower back. You'll see that in this position, I'm basically pushing through my hips. So my back is already straight. My spine's in a neutral position. around my head area, right? Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm activating my traps to stabilize my scapula and my spine to maintain this upright position, which is why this exercise works your traps, because I'm working my traps to a stabilized position by going from here to here. And when you do a rack pull, you don't just go up and then slam the weight back down. It's more of a controlled motion where you come up, hold that position for a second, and then go back to the starting position, let the weight settle. You're not bouncing the barbell off the rack, and then you repeat. And as far as how many reps and how many sets, it's pretty standard, guys. You can do 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. Some of you guys who are a lot stronger, you can probably do something like 4 to 5 or 5 to 6 repetitions. Feel it out. It depends on your programming. But at the end of the day, if the only thing you're doing for your traps training is just like a standard dumbbell or barbell shrug where you're standing up like this, the only part of your traps you're really hitting is the upper portion. We want to be able to hit those middle fibers as well as those lower fibers, because the more we can stabilize our scapula and our spine, the more that's going to help us with exercises that require it, like a squat or a deadlift, right? It's very important to make sure you guys don't get pigeonholed and doing the same stuff all the time, and don't be afraid to try something new. And seriously, this version of a dumbbell shrug where you actually lean forward, you want to sit like on the very edge of a bench, right? So the dumbbells don't hit the bench. Put your feet together really close and push your knees together, because you need your arms to hang down by the sides of your body. And literally grab like 20-pound dumbbell. I'm serious, guys. 20-pound dumbbells, lean over, and try to shrug your shoulders so that you're targeting those mid traps right here. It's a great exercise. So the title of this article was Dumbbell Shrugs versus Rack Pulls, which are better, right? Obviously, the answer is there's not one that's better than the other. They both have their place in your workout. But if you're not doing rack pulls at all, well, then it's safe to say that you should probably add that to your exercise. Now, for those of you who think that this was an amazing article and a great piece of information, if you were on my email list, you would have found out about this probably last week, and you would have already added this exercise to your workout program. So if you're not on my email list, it's totally free. Go to my website, muscularstrength.com, scroll down, enter your email right here. All this information is totally free, and I use my email. I have 1,800 videos, guys. I have thousands of articles. This is my easy way to help educate and re-educate and remind you guys of things you should be doing in the gym. And now, if you're looking for a new workout program, go to the workout section of my website. So go to programs, click on muscle gain. I also have fat burning routines, home routines you can do at home as well. And try one of my programs. These are my favorite 3. Granted, I love all my programs. All my programs are great. I put a lot of time and effort into them. They all come with videos, PDF downloads, descriptions of the exercises, photos, right? But if I had to choose which program you should do, if you have time to go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, do my 5-day bodybuilding split. If you can only hit the gym 2, 3, maybe 4 times max, try my full body evolution. And if you're advanced and you're looking for something to really take your training to the next level, my Cheat and Recover program is right up your lane. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure you go down below, tap that like button, leave comments. The YouTube algorithm absolutely hates me because I took a little bit of a break over the last couple of years to focus on my gaming studio, WagMe Games, which is doing very well, by the way. So go down, leave that love, share the video, and as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.